we built BTWB to support independent gyms. These gym owners have unique journeys that led them to create incredible communities in their towns or cities all around the world. Spotlight is going to help tell these stories and celebrate these people. All right, Neil, man, thanks for making a little bit of time to chat about you and your gym.
You're very welcome, Pat. It's a pleasure.
It's the morning for me, East Coast, West Coast here on the US. What's the name of your gym and where are you located?
My gym is called CrossFit Eccentric, and we are located in Downpatrick, Northern Ireland.
Very cool. I've been to a lot of places. I've never been to Ireland.
No,
No, it's on my list, but I've never been there yet. I haven't had a reason to head out there.
you were close. You were at the Rogue Invitational.
I was close.
Yeah,
I was
we
close.
we were at that too. We got to meet all of our favorite stars, but we didn't get to meet you because you were always so busy. So
Um, that was a fun, cool event. I do hope to, and they're heading back there again this year, so it should be awesome. I got to give you credit. I interview a lot of gyms, talk to a lot of gym owners, but what you've got behind you, I haven't seen in a bit, and it makes me smile. Just the old school, just pukey there, huh?
yeah,
That's that's cool, man. That's good to see.
it's awesome. One of my gym members is a painter and decorator, and I actually commissioned her to do it on the wall for me.
Okay.
And I said to her, I'm going to give you a 3 months membership for doing that. And she went, you know what? I don't even want a 3 months membership. I'm just happy to do it for you. So shout out to Jackie for painting that up on the wall for me.
Man, not that we're off track, we're already off track, which is fine. Aren't CrossFit gyms and the paying members of CrossFit gyms there's so unique in a
Yep.
really cool way. Like, Greg used to say this all the time, and he wasn't lying. If your accountant or your dentist or your whatever, I don't know, needs help in the office or they're moving locations, all the patients don't show up for free and be like, yeah, we'll move your office for you. That sounds great. But like gym
Yeah,
members doing stuff like that and be like, nah, don't worry about it. Like, that's pretty darn cool. That's good to hear that's still happening out there.
absolutely. One of our guys, without getting too off track, the amount of times, because we're a small affiliate, we've had to really space manage this gym. So the amount of times we've moved the rig is not even funny. And one of our members, Graham, is like, every time I'm like, he catches me looking at the rig sometimes, and he's like, no, Neil, you're not moving it. So he's done it. He's done it. The amount of holes that guy's drilled in this gym, same thing. Just a local guy, just handy with a drill, happy to move it.
And so you're in a small town there?
We're in a county called County Down, which is kind of what America's version of states, only much smaller.
Okay.
Uh, County Down, and in County Down, I believe there's maybe three CrossFit affiliates.
Okay.
I think we were one of the first. I think we were one of the first five affiliates in Northern Ireland. So there's
Oh, wow.
North and South Ireland. We're Northern Ireland. I think we were one of the first five.
And if you're not from, like in the US, there can be a bit of rivalry from the East Coast to the West Coast, or if you're on like the East Coast, the North versus the South or whatnot. Is that in Ireland with like Northern Ireland and Southern Ireland? Is there a bit of a rivalry?
Kind of, yeah. There's it's all one island, right? That's one of the cool things about my gym is even though you're either Irish or you're British over here, everybody's welcome. It doesn't really matter, what you're kind of. We just don't talk politics in this gym at all. And that's
Good for you. No, I think that's a good, I kind of have that rule as well in my community, and it just makes things better. Like, let's just focus on fitness. I don't care what you got going on in your household. When you're here, we have a common mission, we have
yeah.
a common goal, and that's what we're going to focus on. So tell us a bit about, your gym, your members, like somebody who hasn't been there, like what's the vibe like? Is it older? Is it younger? Is it competitive? Is it, families with kids? Like just what's it all about?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. We started out 13 years ago, back in the heyday of the games, right? And we affiliated in 2014. I did my level one in 2013. And we started off like most affiliate owners do with the whole CrossFit games and competition and all that. And I very quickly learned that the competitive side of CrossFit is not actually CrossFit. And, you know, being a family man, I have a wife and 3 daughters. Most of our members, and I don't know if they've just gravitated to us because of this, but we're very family oriented gym. A lot of kind of people between the age of maybe 30 and 70 in this gym.
Okay.
And we're very much kind of like the good old days of like one workout a day and the weekly heavy day and
Good for you. Yeah.
that kind of stuff. We did try the whole competitor track, you know, a few times, and it just didn't work because I am a huge believer in CrossFit has to be, it's like shared suffering. So when you're in open gym by yourself doing sets of back squat and whatever, it's just nowhere near as fun as doing a dedicated 5x5 back squat with the Metallica turned up super loud and in a community and with the huge rest in between sets so that you can actually talk to the people you're sharing the squat racks with, you know? So
Yeah, sure. And so you can actually lift heavy again.
exactly right. You know, so once I did my CrossFit level 2 in 2021, I think it was, the heavy day that we did was the biggest ass kicking I've had in quite some time, just with the way that the seminar staff warmed us up, primed us, and like the warm-up sets were like working sets. And of course, because you're in the level 2 with all your peers, you're of course trying to lift heavy, right?
You're going for it.
Definitely, like ever since then, heavy days at this gym have been, people really look forward to them because they, you know, that old saying in other affiliates, oh, we're just doing 5x5 back squat or front squat or whatever. But our members know they're breaking sweat when they're coming in here for heavy day, you know?
Yes, and I'll go ahead and share publicly my personal opinion. If members have that sense of like, oh, it's just a 5x5 back squat, something's not right. Either
Yep.
they're not approaching it with the right intensity and rest periods that you can do it, they're not respecting the heavy days, or the owners haven't communicated what those days are all about, why they're so critical, how we should intelligently approach them so that they actually work and they're effective. Like, yeah, so it sounds like you are doing things right. So that do you have is everyone in the same group, or do you have specific classes like for those members that are near 70 years old that you said?
Well, no, we don't have enough old folk just yet to create a specialist class, but we have our 6 a.m. class, our 9:30 a.m. class, and our 6:30 p.m. class, just 3 classes per day, 5 days a week. And they just seem to work really well. Like I said, we've got a small membership base in here. We have a maximum of 12 per class, and we're very much about the coaching and the delivery of the program. And I often tell new people when they join, I'm like, look, you're not joining here because there's a sauna or a swimming pool. You're paying £95 per month for the programming and the delivery of the program. And we take huge pride in that. And I must say, I take a lot of pride in my coaches, Calls, Sarah and Molly. Like those girls they're all former members. And they know what it's like to be there on their very first day. Some of them have been here longer than others, but they're definitely on the same wavelength in terms of, you know, delivering the CrossFit methodology, which is what we're trying to do here.
Oh, that's very cool, man. And so you've been at this for a while, to say the
Yeah.
least.
Yes.
Um, what would be your advice to new gym owners, people looking to open up a space, and you've done things that probably you wish you could do over, and
Yeah.
lessons learned and all that stuff. What kind of pops to the top of your mind?
Several. You don't have long enough, but one of the big ones for me would be to really try to develop relationships with all your members. And back in the day, and like most, you're guilty of really like not favoring, but like being super impressed with like the fit guys.
Sure,
As
sure.
over the years, as it's evolved, and initially I started CrossFit because I was trying to lose weight. I've actually lost like 8 stone. I don't even know what that is in pounds, but CrossFit definitely turned me around. And I went from obese to a CrossFitter. The thought
Oh,
of
no kidding.
a ring muscle up whenever I was in my 20s was, it's not something I ever thought I could do. So back in the early days of this affiliate, we were very much all about performance and about, eating paleo and all of that stuff. But as the years have gone on, I've really come to realize that CrossFit is an unreal vessel for longevity if it's done correctly. So any new people wanting to open a CrossFit affiliate, I would say just go absolutely nose deep in the level 1 training guide and really kind of understand the methodology before you just want to open a gym. Because back then I fell in love with the methodology, but didn't quite understand it. It took me a few years to really kind of value all of the 10 general physical skills and not just the fitness ones like flexibility. I always tell people now during their intro course with me that it's flexibility is the one. That's the one we want to keep the absolute longest. And as a gymnastics coach as well, flexibility is a huge component for me. So just really understand the methodology and never stop learning and never think you know it all is what I would tell you.
While you're talking, I just looked up on my phone what 8 stones is in pounds, and it's 112 pounds, which is a huge amount of weight. I didn't know that's what 8 stone is. That's crazy. You must be an entirely different human being being 8 stone. Like, I mean, that's genuinely amazing. You saved your own life, really.
100%.
Was that just, you mentioned paleo? Was that just what you did? Or like, for somebody watching this who's like, wow, how did that dude lose 112 pounds? Can you just give me a couple minutes as to like what did it for you?
Yeah, well, what did it for me was changing up the stimulus of my nutrition mostly. And that was trying to eat whole, unprocessed foods. But back when we started doing CrossFit, it was very much, that was when the whole paleo and they were starting to get into like the likes of the zone diet. So for me, it was whole unprocessed foods and then just doing CrossFit. Like, I mean, if you've never done Fran and then you do Fran, like I'll give you a good example. I was fit before I did Fran for the very first time. I was able to run 10K sub 50 minutes. Because I've been trying out other fitness programs in the past, some will remain nameless, but like back in the day, there was things like Insanity.
Oh yeah, sure. Yep.
The 300 workouts. And those were things that I started dabbling in. And I started realizing very quickly that I actually really enjoyed the high intensity stimulus. And I prefer that much more over longer kind of aerobic based exercise, like running 10Ks. So, but the first time I did Fran, I mean, like that was it. Like I did it RX, but it was like 12 minutes or something.
I'm right there with you. Yep.
I was destroyed after it. And I was like, that's 12 minutes. I don't feel like this after I run 5K, so it's the different energy systems and stuff. So I guess the type of exercise that I've been doing, your typical bodybuilding and the 300 Spartan workout, that was a big thing back then. Just going into those shorter time domains, couplets, triplets. And this was back whenever CrossFit still had the very old website, the yellow website. So I just used to wake up every morning super excited for the workout of the day, whenever it was. And I would just literally read it and go, okay, what's a shoulder press? And then start filtering in these different variants. I guess variance is a huge component for me anyway. It's one of the reasons why I love CrossFit. And I know for a fact it's one of the reasons why a lot of my members love CrossFit, because it's different all the time,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's that constant variance that's just very, very hard to beat.
It helps keep people interested. I mean, not only does it work, which obviously helps keep people around, but if it worked and it was incredibly boring, you'd still have some people leave even though it worked. But since it keeps your interest in, oh, what's going on today? And oh, check out tomorrow's workout. Like it really is a beautiful genius combination to actually keep people's interest and get them results at the same time. So, every gym owner that I talk to, and anyone who doesn't own a gym doesn't understand how many things a gym owner actually has to do to make the gym happen and function. It's like, oh, you just open the doors in the morning and just magically happens. Like, no, 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 there's a lot of stuff. So, your time is precious. What what made you choose BTWB, the all-in-one, and what do you like about it?
So that's an interesting one because I'm very much the type of person that will try anything once, literally, apart from skydiving. But uh, I have tried all the systems, you name them, I've tried them. And BTWB was one of them ones that I tried so hard to get into a few years ago, actually, because I fancied following Lynchpin for a while. And because, like I say, I'm OG, right? I like to do basic CrossFit,
Yeah, yeah.
and your stuff always looked really appealing to me. But um, BTWB has always been the kind of gold standard for me in terms of, because it's been here almost as long as the methodology has. So
Right.
I have always been trying to get into it, but up until recently, I think we're with you guys maybe 6 months or so now. I don't know, but I always planned to go to BTWB, and then see whenever you watch the likes of the Open announcements, and then there's the stats that come from. It's always from BTWB.
Right.
CrossFit as an affiliate, they have it's in the affiliate partner network, and I just decided one day after being at the Rogue Invitational, and I went to the BTWB stand, had a chat with the
Oh,
guys.
cool. Yeah.
I just was, because I told Sarah, who was with me, one of my coaches, I says, "Oh, I really want to get us on beyond the whiteboard. I'm going to go talk to these dudes." I might have had two or three too many beers when I was talking to them, but it's what do you do? So
Perfect.
having spoken to those guys, and then just really wanting to give it a try. Here's the thing, Pat. I really wanted it to work because I know how expansive the program is.
Mm.
Not expensive, expansive. And I like the idea of, like, I listen to a lot of music. I'm actually a DJ as well.
Really?
Yeah, and I like Spotify and YouTube, the year in review that they give you. So
Yes.
when I started looking into BTWB and realizing, because you always wonder, well, I do anyway, how many burpees did I do in 2024? Right? You cannot fathom the amount that you do unless you literally are really awesome at spreadsheets. So that year in review feature is definitely, how many meters did you row? How many calories on the echo bike? How many pull-ups have you done this year? All things like that. I often joke with my members, like CrossFitters, we are fitness nerds. That is what
Mm.
we are. And CrossFit's like this never-ending computer game, right? And no matter how many levels you get up, there's always another level. And
100%.
the way BTWB presents that to gym owners and members is definitely one of the things that makes it stand out for me anyway, over other services.
Yeah, I know what you're saying because when I'll log a workout, maybe like after Murph that just happened recently, and
Yeah,
I log it, and all of a sudden it tells me, you've done 10,000 pull-ups. And I'm like, what?
yeah,
Done
I know.
10,000 pull-ups?
Yeah,
Like,
and
that's crazy.
it's not cool, and that's something you'll screenshot and stick on your Insta story. Be like, check this out. You know,
Yeah.
that's the CrossFitter in us, isn't it? Like, it's like telling all your mates, hey, don't talk about Fight Club, but hey,
A
so
hundred, 100%.
yeah,
Uh, I I want to let people know, how to find you, your website, Instagram, or where you're located. Maybe they're traveling to Ireland for a vacation, all that. So I want you to to self-promote here for a second. But before we do that, I can't let go of the fact that you mentioned that you were a DJ and not chat about that for at least a minute.
let's do
What,
it.
is it a hobby? Does it earn income? What type of music? Where do you DJ? Like, what's the deal there? Are you a DJ for hire?
Yeah, well, pretty much before I got into CrossFit, I was very much into music. I mean, I met my wife in a nightclub. Um,
Okay.
so dance music, trance music, house music. My favorite DJs are Above and Beyond. They are amazing. But yeah, I started a YouTube channel in lockdown because I was like, well, there's nothing to do here. I've already done my workout in the garden. I've already done the CrossFit Eccentric whiteboard brief for the next day. I've already programmed the at-home version of the workout. So now what do? And I just dusted off my turntables and started presenting a YouTube live stream every Friday night. And during the beginning phase of lockdown, that was so many of my friends were just so grateful for it. And it was almost like you counted down the week and then you can open up a can of beer and listen to some music. So
That's
I kind of
awesome.
reinvigorated the DJing. And yeah, do you know what the cool thing is? I actually said after lockdown, reopening the gym, and that was hard enough. But I was like, I'm going to keep doing this. So I do try to find time to continue doing at least a once a month show. And then I'm actually taken to going to like remote locations and
Mm.
filming a DJ set. For example, the last one I did was at a beautiful place in Northern Ireland here called Bloody Bridge. And we filmed a DJ set at sunrise, so at like 4 a.m.
Oh,
And me and
wow.
my friends called Sonic Surroundings. So my YouTube channel is Neil Eccentric, if anybody's into that kind of thing. Um,
Cool.
and yeah, I just do it for really just the passion for music. And I think I share the same kind of eccentricity for music that I do for CrossFit, which is why my CrossFit affiliate is called CrossFit Eccentric, because I'm just hugely eccentric about that in general. So hope that makes sense.
Are you in charge of the music at the gym?
I am very much. Um, maybe sometimes to some of the members dislike, but I like to think that I coach the 9:30 class, and I like to think I'm really starting to turn them into above and beyond and deep house, progressive
That's
house fitness.
cool. That's cool. Well, let people know how can they find your gym, whether it's, Instagram, Facebook, a website, like whatever it is, let us know.
Yep. So this is my Instagram here, CrossFit Eccentric. You can drop us a DM. We actually get a lot of people visiting because the town that we're in is actually where St. Patrick is buried.
Oh,
Supposedly,
interesting. Okay.
if anybody from America or anywhere, in fact, is watching this and they want to drop in for a CrossFit workout at a CrossFit affiliate, just drop us a message on Instagram and we will more than happily bring you in. We do this thing where if you bring a t-shirt from your own affiliate, then you work out for free. I know a lot of places do that, but
That's cool.
we're for that. We collect the t-shirts. So yeah, if you're coming over anytime, just drop us a DM and hit us up. And then there's the website, CrossFitEccentric.com.
Very cool. Hey, Neil, I appreciate you making some time in this evening for you morning for me and getting helping us know
Absolutely.
about your members, your gyms, and all that stuff.
Dude, it's a pleasure to finally meet you as well.
I hope we cross paths if I head over to the invitation again, if you do as well. Let's go to we meet at the BTWB booth or something, say hello.
Right on. We'll get you a brew dog.
Yeah, that sounds great. Well, enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks, man.
Thanks, Pat. Talk to you later.